In the heart of a city that never sleeps, tucked away in an alley no one ever remembers, stands a library. It's not a library of brick and mortar, but of whispers and dust motes dancing in slivers of moonlight. This is the Athenaeum of the Forgotten, and its keeper is a creature as shy as a shadow, with eyes the color of old parchment. Her name is Lyra. Lyra isn't your typical librarian. She doesn't stamp books or shush noisy patrons. There are no patrons. Her job is far more vital. She is the guardian of stories, the caretaker of beings woven from ink and imagination. You see, every book in this endless, winding library holds a life, a real, breathing, magical creature. There, on that tall, teetering shelf, is a book bound in shimmering scales. Inside sleeps a hydra, its many heads dreaming of sun-drenched rocks. In that small, leather-worn tome near the floor, a pixie with wings of spun sugar rests, her laughter trapped between the pages. Griffins, kelpies, dragons, and beings you don't even have names for, they all live here, their existence tied to the very paper they're printed on. But their world is fragile. As the world outside forgets these tales, as new stories eclipse the old, the ink on the pages begins to fade. The magic thins. And when a book is completely forgotten, when its cover gathers its final layer of dust, the creature inside simply ceases to be. A gentle shimmer, and then nothing. An empty book, a hollow story. Lyra feels each loss like a physical blow, a tiny crack in her own heart. She spends her days and nights darting through the labyrinthine corridors, her small lantern casting a warm, lonely glow. She dusts the forgotten spines, traces the fading titles with a delicate claw, and whispers promises to the silent inhabitants. I remember you, she'll murmur to a book about a mischievous brownie. I won't let you fade. Her most important task, her sacred duty, begins when the moon is highest in the sky. She chooses a book, one whose pages are growing dangerously faint, and carries it to the grand, central reading chamber. The chamber is a dome of silent starlight, the air thick with the scent of aging paper and fading magic. She opens the book, and she begins to read. Her voice is soft, a mere rustle of leaves at first, but it holds a unique power. It's a lifeline. As she speaks the words, the fading ink brightens. The illustrations on the page begin to stir. She reads of the griffins soaring over jagged peaks, and you can almost feel the rush of wind. She describes the kelpie's song, and a haunting melody seems to echo through the hall. Her voice breathes life back into the dying magic. For the creatures within, her voice is the sun, the rain, the very air they need to survive. She reads for hours, until her throat is raw and her eyes are heavy, pouring her own energy into the stories. She reads of epic quests and quiet moments, of fierce battles and unlikely friendships. She is their champion, their storyteller, their last hope. One night, she chooses a book bound in what looks like dried moss and river stones. The title is almost completely gone. Inside, the story of a gentle, moss-covered giant who tended a forest is barely visible. The giant was fading fast. Lyra's heart ached as she saw the transparency of his form on the page. She began to read, her voice filled with a desperate urgency. She read of how the giant could speak to the trees, how he guided lost travelers to safety, how his footsteps sprouted wildflowers. As she spoke, the deep greens and earthy browns of the illustrations grew vibrant again. The giant on the page seemed to turn his head, his kind, ancient eyes looking out from the story. A wave of gratitude, warm and profound, flowed from the book, washing over her. Lyra smiled, a rare and beautiful thing. This was why she endured the loneliness. This connection, this silent understanding between storyteller and story, was everything. But even Lyra, with all her dedication, is only one creature. The library is infinite, and the tide of forgetting is relentless. More books fade each day than she can possibly read. She races against time, a silent, frantic marathon through the aisles of memory. She knows she is losing. For every creature she saves for a night, 10 more slip closer to oblivion. One evening, exhausted and disheartened, she sank to the floor, surrounded by fading worlds. Tears welled in her parchment-colored eyes. "I'm not enough," she whispered to the silent, watching shelves. "I can't do it alone." As she spoke, something strange happened. She was holding a small, simple book, one she hadn't noticed before. It had no title, no illustration on its cover. It was blank. Puzzled, she opened it. The pages were mirrors. And in the reflection, she didn't see herself. She saw a room, a person sitting, listening. "She saw you." And then she understood. The library wasn't just a place of forgotten things. It was a bridge. Her voice wasn't the only thing keeping the magic alive. Every time someone, somewhere, picks up a story of myth and magic, every time a parent reads a fairy tale to a child, every time a daydreamer gets lost in a fantasy world, they are sending a spark of energy into Lyra's library. The words you are hearing now, this story of a shy librarian and her magical creatures, it's not just a story. It's a lifeline. Your attention, your imagination, your willingness to listen. That is the true magic. You are not just an audience. You are a patron of the Athenaeum of the Forgotten. Lyra is not alone. We are reading with her. We are speaking the words alongside her. Every time we share a story, every time we remember a myth, we are dusting off a forgotten book on her shelf. We are making the ink brighter. The shy creature in the heart of that secret library looks up from the mirrored book, a new hope dawning in her eyes. She can feel it. She can feel the countless sparks of light, the whispers of imagination, flowing into her world from ours. She is no longer just a keeper. She is a conduit for a magic that connects us all. The creatures in the book stir, not just from her voice, but from the collective power of our belief. The Hydra dreams of a new sun. The Pixie's laughter tinkles with newfound strength. The Moss Giant's forest flourishes. So the next time you open a book filled with impossible things, remember Lyra. Remember that your attention is a powerful spell, your imagination a sacred flame. You are a guardian of magic, just as she is. Keep reading, keep dreaming, keep the stories alive. Because in a library made of whispers and moonlight, a shy little creature is counting on you. Thank you so much for listening and for being a part of this magic. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps more than you know.